It appears that today, I mean, you've already seen it because it's on your thing. It's a shorter episode today. Not that we've already done it or anything like that. But
we just have less time to record today.
Yeah, we do have less time to record. You know what? We got shit to do, people. Honestly. Why you got to be judging us? Why you got to judge Veronica like that?
Is something happening today?
Why do you have to, what? Oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
It's Christmas time, so this one's getting another colonoscopy.
Ooh, Merry Christmas to you.
That's a solid pass.
That's a callback.
It's not Christmas time, but it is kind of like another holiday, and we're not talking about Valentine's Day.
That's true.
It's Super Bowl Sunday.
It is Super Bowl Sunday.
That's when we are recording this.
And I'm going to feel real weird if I don't put this episode out real quick if we're talking about it this much. So
Gonna be awkward.
I better be
Totally
on top of
Be
this.
on it.
Totally fine.
This is the opposite of important, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lance.
I'm Sam.
I'm Veronica.
Jamie.
And this is how we start this episode. Here we go.
Do it.
Next week, I will not have to worry about hair ties.
Are you doing the green?
Yep.
That's gonna look good.
I don't get it.
Sorry, I saw the pictures. So, Veronica.
I'm meeting with Grant to take care of this situation.
What's wrong with it? Your hair looks good.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's frizzy right here and the wrong color up here.
I would argue that it's the correct color that
It
it's
is
supposed
not
to
the
be.
color that I would
Natural.
like it to be.
Oh, okay. One of those things.
I see.
And then Grant sent us a picture of this person with short hair that was green. And that's what they're doing.
You're going to get really short?
Yeah.
I would imagine it would be a bummer for you, but in this scenario, I'm thinking about myself. And I don't mind frizzy hair. I think it looks fine.
Ugh, it drives me nuts.
I believe it, which is probably why you're going to cut it off.
I need to get my hair trimmed at least because it's so long that when like I'm brushing it out, it like, and if it's wet, it's like in knots by the time it gets. So I need to get a few inches taken off.
When did the word trim mean vagina? You remember that?
I
70s,
remember that.
80s?
Because isn't the phrase "I'm gonna go get some trim"?
Yes.
I have no idea.
That was
I can't even remember when I heard that
And
phrase.
the-
I think I've heard it in a movie.
I know exactly where I heard it. It was in 48 Hours.
Oh.
And that's what Eddie Murphy's character, when he got out of prison.
So
Roxanne.
maybe the 80s.
Yeah, maybe.
have
I don't
no
know.
idea.
I just don't like. I've been on this thing lately where I've been thinking about the origin of certain words
And phrases.
and their meanings.
Yes.
Yes, and a lot of them are very strange, and we just kind of strange is another
That is
term for
Yeah, that one I have heard.
The
Yeah.
strange.
yeah.
But that's more specific.
Doctor Strange.
That's a specific type of getting some.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's got to be a bunch of them out there.
I just really appreciated it when I was in Northern Ireland. We had gone to church with some people and we were driving home. And so this guy's dad is driving us, and my friend Allie she's just like, so what did your grandma wear pants or skirts more or dresses or whatever? Because we're watching the older Irish people like go home, and a lot of the older women are wearing skirts or whatever. And so she's like, did she wear pants or dress? I'm like, well, she didn't really ever wear jeans. It was more like slacks or pants, but not jeans. But she wore pants. And meanwhile, the two guys up front are like busting up. And so we're like, hey, what's up? They're like, okay, so we understand what you're talking about. However, pants means underwear here. And so we're listening to you talk about if your grandma wore underwear.
Wow.
Underwear.
I
I'm just
didn't
like,
think about that.
this is amazing. And yes, she also wore that.
As far as you know.
Also, yes.
That's like Coke down south, but different.
Yeah.
Doesn't fanny also mean like in England? Doesn't fanny also mean like
You can say it.
vagina?
Yeah.
It's got. I think
Yes.
so. I think I've heard that. Also, tang, poontang. I heard that one.
I don't like that one
Yeah, so
because I really
this,
like Tang.
This is
and now
this is a weird,
weird.
This is a weird direction to take it, but I wanted to tell everyone that cares, maybe I'm the only one. No, you would care. That David Letterman started him and his people started a YouTube channel, and they're putting up like HD clips of the old show, and then the Late Show,
Cool.
as well. And one of them on there was Steve Martin, and it was this bit that they were doing where he had all of this precious china and vases and the gag was that eventually all of them would be broken. And so in one of the jokes, he was saying, this is something tang, this one's something. Dave's like, what's this one? Poon. But they didn't let it say the word. They, even for YouTube now, they cut it out.
Yeah.
And hilarity ensued, obviously. And then there was another bit in there where you gotta watch it. It's so funny. They had like a whole bunch of goats walk through, but they missed everything. So they're like, well, that was very convenient that they missed every single thing. But it's been fun going back and watching old clips. There's I haven't really even gotten that far into it, but there was one of Scarlett Johansson on his show when she was like, she looks like she's like 12.
Yeah.
And talking about some movie she had just done with Robert De Niro. Is that right?
No idea.
I'm not
Or
sure.
maybe Robert Redford? It was one of the Bobs. I forget.
I don't know. Has Scarlett done anything with
Yeah.
Bob Redford?
I think that's it doesn't matter. But anyway, it was just I missed that show so much, probably because I'm old and it was one of my favorite ones. And I just it's been cool watching clips, but I wish that there was a way that they would just put out full episodes.
Yeah.
So I would 100% sit down and watch one episode a night just of the old stuff.
Yeah.
And not have it be edited down for time or anything. I
Yeah.
would love to find that.
When the new alignment kind of came about in the early to mid 90s with Letterman and Leno and Conan, where they were like, that was my prime, like late night watching time. I jumped right in with the Late Show and then started watching Conan too. And I was like, who's this dorky redheaded guy?
Same thing.
I wasn't going to watch Leno because, he's not funny, but,
I would only switch over to Leno if he had somebody that I
had a guest,
really
right.
cared about.
A good guest, yeah.
Like I remember switching over when it would be someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger or some musical guest that I really wanted to see.
Sure.
But I don't know. Back in the day, Joe and I started to do I would go on YouTube and find old monologues of one of Leno and one of Letterman, kind of around the same year, but there's surprisingly not a lot of stuff on YouTube of like the monologues of shows.
Yeah.
Leno had the fucking headlines. You can find a ton of those, but his monologue, not so much. And I would try to be fair to Joe and say like keep the good stuff in there from both of them. So I couldn't make it so that like Letterman would win or whatever, because we would listen and it would be like a competition to see who had the funniest monologue.
Yeah.
And the way that they did it was just so different from one another. And the way that Dave would like let things hang there until you got it. And Leno was like, boom, 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 and keep it
Leno
coming.
was a stand-up, and maybe a better stand-up than Letterman.
Yeah.
But I just thought Letterman's brand of humor was better.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, I had to give it to Leno some nights.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was pretty fucking funny.
I mean, the monologue was probably the part of the show he enjoyed the most, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like, I think he wasn't, I don't think as skilled of an interviewer as Letterman was.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I would agree.
But anyway.
But you should check it out if you're into
Will do.
any of that stuff. But I'm hoping soon there'll be more My Next Guest on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
That
Dave's
is
show?
Letterman. Yeah, Letterman show. Have you seen any of those?
I haven't yet.
It's good stuff and great fucking people on there. I really enjoyed that show. You should check it out.
Yeah,
I think you'd dig
I
it.
think we watched Tina Fey was the last one we saw.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was a really good one.
She's just a delight, so that's probably where it needs
She
to start.
absolutely is. Yeah. I just want everybody to take a moment to recognize that I went from terms for vagina to David Letterman.
I was trying to remember how we got there as you were talking. I'm just like, I know it seemed natural at the time. Did it? Did he just start? Okay.
It was the what you were talking about, Steve Martin talking about his
Oh, the poon.
his
Yeah.
China.
Yep.
And that's where
And,
we
well,
are.
because it took me a second to figure out what he was saying because I hadn't heard that term in so long.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what did they bleep out? And then I just got it. Right. So anyway, that was fun. I have a question.
All right.
Jamie, how was your week?
My week was okay. My sister is in town for the weekend, so I've been trying.
I know her.
You do know her. She says hi.
Aw.
And
That's nice.
So I've been trying to spend a lot of time with my family this weekend. And I also had to explain to my father because he got a little not upset with me, but I had to. So on Friday morning, I went into work, was at work all day, and then I ran home real quick to take care of my dog, and then I was at my parents' house all night. Next day, I wake up, spend all day with Bailey in Des Moines, and then I'm in with my parents in the evening. And so this is in the evening. I'm talking about how I'm just kind of tired. And Dad's just like, yeah, you have a big day. And I'm like, yeah, it's been a couple big days. He's like, no, I meant tomorrow. I'm like, well, no, I'm just like, I'm tired now because of like all the stuff I've been doing now. And he's just like looking like offended because I've been spending all this time with my family. And I'm just like, okay.
And
like,
it's exhausting.
I'm like, yes. I'm just like, okay, what you forget, Dad, is that I'm an introvert and I get my energy by being alone, and I haven't been alone for 48 hours. I can be enjoying what I am doing. That does not mean it isn't
Right.
wearing me out. Like, and so I'm just like, I'm not like, I'm having a great time. I love being with you guys. I love playing Name That Tune. This is great. But I am not going to lie to you and be like, yeah, this is giving me energy. No, it's not.
I mean, a person can get exhausted from too much sleep.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
it's not like you were meaning to be offended.
Yeah, it
or
was
anything
so.
like
I
that.
think it was like just having to like break that down or remind him that I'm an introvert. Like, I can be social. That's
Yeah.
not. I'm a selectively social person, but I'm not antisocial. So it was just really fun, like having to have those distinctions with my dad, like this late in my life.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Dad, here's how I work.
be like, and I understand you are not the same because he is very extroverted. Like he loves, like, can't get enough of being around people. I'm just like, ugh, they're
Yeah.
the worst.
Man,
But no, I've been having a pretty good weekend. Just seeing a lot of family.
good.
Well, not a lot of family, but spending a lot of time with the 3 family.
It's enough.
It's enough family.
3's enough.
It is.
Yeah. I suppose we should probably say this at some point that we are recording this before the Super Bowl happens.
Oh yes, that's the big thing that.
Now
happened
this
today.
will go out after the Super Bowl has aired, and obviously all of the controversial things that will have happened.
Yes.
Who knows? So
Do we think it's? Oh.
So we're not really going to talk about that too much.
No, but predictions. Will it be like something goes wrong with the music, or something goes wrong with because wasn't it the footballs being underinflated? Was that at the Super Bowl or at a
Yes, that was
Deflate.
deflate? I remember it being called, and I couldn't remember if that was like a finals to get to the Super Bowl
I
or
think
Super
it
Bowl
was
proper.
leading up to the Super Bowl. I
Okay.
believe is when it happened. Yes, yes. So then everybody hated Tom Brady because he supposedly cheated because
Yes.
he made the ball smaller. Look, I would guess probably a lot of people do shit with the footballs to make them, more the way they want them. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't just Tom Brady.
No, yeah. So I'm just. Do you have any predictions on what will go awry? Is it going to be another low-scoring game?
I think-
Oh, you go
Man.
first.
I think that there will probably be some issues with the halftime show because they're trying to jam so much into such little time.
Here's my question: is the halftime show limited to a certain amount of time?
I think.
Well, typically for football
is.
games, I mean, I think it's supposed to be a 20-minute halftime.
But will they allow it to go longer? Because it does seem like, when you see a halftime show,
Yeah.
they do try to get from track to track,
Yeah.
song to song, And I've just never paid attention to it, to how long they will actually let it go. But because it is such a big thing, it's not like going to, like we went to see the Orange Bowl one year.
Yeah.
And you watch somebody it was somebody that was famous, but not like crazy famous. But then you see them run out, try to put something together real quick, perform, then it's done.
Yeah, I think that the performances are usually about like 12 minutes, and then
Yeah.
they like test how long it takes them to set up and take down everything.
But with something that's such a big production like this, and especially with 5 killer people.
Yeah.
This is 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder
That we know of.
Ooh. I mean, Janet's been in the news, so maybe she'll show up. Sing with Eminem? No? Too soon?
Well, who?
Maybe he'll get Katy Perry out there and Britney Spears.
What channel
and everyone that he's not
has broadcast right this year?
I think it's CBS this
I
year,
thought, yeah, that sounds right.
I think.
I hope it's not Channel 5 because we don't have that.
That will be a problem.
ABC, I think. I don't think it's on ABC.
I do know that
Somebody's going to be subscribing to Hulu in the next few minutes.
I have it.
We could go over to my house,
That's
and
fair.
then we can't hear anything because the dogs will bark
Oh,
the whole
lovely.
time.
That's my
true.
favorite. Yeah, I was just curious if there was in fact a set time limit that it needed to be at.
Yeah.
But it seems like at least for this one they would have to let it slide, and they would just say like try to keep it under 20 minutes.
Oh, I would imagine.
You know?
I think Jamie's right, because I would imagine because of all of the people that have bought ad time, there's only so much they're going to be able to show. And since it's like continuous, and
Right.
they don't break in the middle of the show, there's no way they're going to let them go more than like 12 minutes.
yeah, I don't think
You know,
or
because-
whatever. Yeah, the normal
12 for the Super Bowl?
No, I mean
Oh.
12 for the halftime show consecutive. Like there's no way
I
that
see.
it could go much longer than that. I would.
Yeah, because I think by the time that they have to then strike the stage and then or set whatever you call it when it's like that, and then
Right. Well, they
let
got to
the-
set it up.
Yeah,
and
they have
then
to.
strike
They're
it.
literally
set up.
striking the
Yeah, they're
stage.
striking the
That's
stage.
exactly what's happening.
And then if it's not the same as basketball when people like do warm ups for the second half, really they don't do that much in football, but still.
There's plenty of room on the
Yeah.
sidelines.
And I know this
Yeah.
isn't the question that I asked, but I do know that our listeners so far, per our Facebook poll, most are looking forward most to the game itself, not the extras, not the commercials. Although
I disagree with that answer.
I was kind of surprised. I mean, it's close. It's close
Yeah.
voting, but people are looking forward to the commercials, snacks, half times, but the game the most. And I was kind of surprised by that.
Nice. Who do
Yeah.
we think? Who are we rooting for?
The Braves, they are.
If you are wanting
that-
a somewhat Iowa connection, the QB for the Bengals was born in Ames.
Dude, somebody.
Is that
we
right?
Went,
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
we went to fucking. This is a whole other thing I was going to talk about. But I had somebody just randomly tell me that this morning.
Well-
I was at a store and he was like, "You looking forward to the game?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bro. You have no idea." And he was like, "Yeah, so and so's from Iowa or whatever." And I'm like, really?
No, and then my dad went one
feel
further.
like I would have heard that by now.
So my dad went one further because there was a teacher at Gilbert whose wife used to babysit said quarterback.
Oh, funny.
And
She's so proud.
Yes. Well, but apparently they like interviewed her, so it's like been in local news or something.
That's about as big a news as when we all collectively watched Tiger King, and then it said Ames, Iowa on the bottom. Like, what the
Exactly. Yes.
And then, true to form, Joe immediately tried to friend her on Facebook.
0%
connection to Tiger
surprised by that.
King. He was like, "We have a friend in common. I bet she'll be my friend." It was so fucking awesome.
I don't think there's any state that is as possessive of people who used to live there
As
Yeah,
as
maybe.
Iowa.
But I
have-
wonder it's because there's nothing here, though.
I think
could
that's
be.
what it is.
But in
Yeah.
Washington, I never heard former Washingtonian or whatever. No.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
everybody,
no.
if you stepped foot in Iowa for 10 minutes, it's, former Iowa.
'Cause I feel
It's
like
a Midwest thing.
Right.
Yeah.
the
If you've
actors
got-
I can remember from Iowa are like, isn't Brandon Ruth, who maybe
Brandon
was-
Routh?
Routh,
Yeah, he's from
yeah.
Iowa.
and then Ashton are the two that I remember. And then this
Jason Momoa.
Jason.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was born here.
Forget about him.
Because
and
Aquaman
all
and Superman
do.
used to play against each other in school.
We got a lot of famous people though that
That's
were born in
amazing.
Iowa.
Oh,
like,
they went to the same school?
No, they went to rival schools and played
schools.
against each other.
Rival schools.
That is-
I see.
amazing. And my new favorite fact about Iowa.
You might want to double check it
Yes, I will
before spouting it as fact, because I don't know where I heard that.
just say according to
It
Wikipedia.
doesn't matter.
Johnny Carson was born in Iowa. John
Yeah.
Wayne was born
That's
in
right.
Iowa. Captain Kirk was born in fucking Iowa.
But the
Or
John
will be born in Iowa.
John-
Excuse
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry. He hasn't been yet.
wasn't it the John Wayne thing that he's not actually like they call it what town is it that they
Winterset.
advertise?
Winterset.
Okay. But isn't there a thing about that he wasn't actually born there, or like maybe he was born there but he didn't live there?
We didn't
or
live
something.
there, I
yeah.
think, but he was born there. And I think it's a similar thing for Johnny Carson, who was born in Corning, Iowa. But I don't think either of those guys lived there for very long.
Corning.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, maybe if we had more than just farms everywhere, like a professional sports team or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
But
we
we
got-
have to do proxy.
Adventureland.
Well, and to completely negate what I just said,
Can't wait.
Yes.
one of the players for the other team, the Rams, is from my hometown of Yakima, Washington.
Oh.
So
Cooper
a former
Kupp.
Washington.
Cooper Kupp.
So you're saying
So
there's a
s-
chance.
Slightly different because
Sure.
you are giving Washington a bone.
Yes,
Rather
but
than
it's
Iowa.
not just Washington in general. He went to Eisenhower High School, I believe.
Ooh.
Speaking of giving a bone, Sam, how was your week?
Well, let me go into great detail about that. No, that's X-rated. I'll move on to what I actually
The second half of the
other
week.
part of the week. Yeah. So, I'm reading a book right now. I just started it, and it's called. This is related to what we were just talking about. It's called Last Team Standing. So it's about football, and it's about 1 year in the 40s during World War II when a lot of the healthy football players had to go off to war because they were needed, to fight in the war. But so in order to be able to keep the football season going, they were getting all of these players that were maybe retired or were maybe like semi-pro guys and maybe not quite professional level, and kind of throwing these ragtag groups of teams together. Well, anyway, this particular story is about Philadelphia and Pittsburgh not having enough players to fill out the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh.
So they combined and they called their team the Steagles
When was this?
in
Was
the 40s.
this also Lord of the Rings
Wow.
related?
No. In the 40s. Yeah. So they combined them for one season. They were called the Steagles.
That is sounds like what I'm getting my dad for Christmas this year.
A Steagle?
yeah.
No, this book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so it basically just is going into, I just started it, but it's just going into detail about the season that these players played together. Some of the players that they had, like there was one guy, a player on the team that was deaf. One guy had one eye. Some of them were
Wow.
veterans from the war that had come back and could
Wow.
no longer be,
Serve,
could,
yeah.
could no longer serve. So they were playing football. And it also goes into a lot of detail about what America was like at this time and how it was kind of a call to serve really for everybody in a lot of other aspects of what was going on in the country. So kind of an interesting book.
Sounds
Historical
cool.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
So just started that.
very cool.
Sweet.
The other thing that's going on that I was thinking about today is that, like, okay, so do you guys ever just get totally addicted to like a snack? We're just like constantly like craving it.
I've
Yeah.
been there before. Yeah. I'm currently not, but yeah,
All right.
unless you count drugs, then yes. I'm
Okay, so
addicted to that.
Hold
That is still true.
so like
Circling back to that.
this is really dumb, but like, right now I am totally addicted to snacking on fucking Cheerios.
Really?
Yes.
Honey, honey
There
nut?
are like way
No, just
No?
the regular ones.
The cardboard Cheerios.
They're not cardboard. They're good. I like them, and I feel like a child. But I'm just like getting myself. I got the mega sized box of Cheerios. I'm not
is
kidding. This thing is
amazing.
fucking huge. All right.
But you know that honey nut exists.
or the
Okay.
or the
Yeah,
like
it's fine.
Yeah.
or even like the 3 where it's like at least 3 different, like they're all like,
Oh, right.
Yeah, they got multigrain. They got frosted. They got everything now.
So this is like just kind of throughout the day, you'll just have a bowl of dry Cheerios in front of you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll put milk in them, but sometimes I'm just going to eat them dry, like a snack, and I'm just sitting there with a bowl of it, just, like eating it. I feel like a child, because
That's
kids,
what you
right?
give a child
Parents
to
pull
buy.
them out of their purse or their
My
bag.
nephews love Cheerios.
Yeah. So
Hang
that's
out
where I'm
with
at
them.
right now. I'm like a 5-year-old.
well, okay, at least my nephew thought I was messing with him when I asked him, like I poured milk on a cereal. He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm giving you your breakfast. He's just like, you don't put milk on cereal. And like thought I was crazy. I'm like, okay, so that's my breakfast.
I mean,
Yeah.
and also to be fair, I guess Cheerios are actually really kind of a decent snack.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like they're fortified with B vitamins.
They're heart
this isn't
healthy.
this isn't
They're
a plug
heart
for
healthy,
Cheerios,
yes.
but
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Nice.
but,
got you, boo.
they're not a bad snack.
No, yeah, I wasn't sure what you were gonna say, but I was not expecting Cheerios. But that's just so wholesome. It's great. I love it.
I would get there would be times in the past where I would have like a certain brand of chips or whatever, like Zapp's chips, and that would be my go-to snack, and it would just be like the saddest fucking day ever when I went to the cupboard and I'm like, oh, this is the last time I'll be able to grab this bag. I've got nothing that like spans for a majority of the day that I snack on or whatever, but still, like, I'm the last person awake in the house, and it never fails because I'm up till about, I don't know, like 12 or 1. So about an hour before I go to bed, I'll be upstairs watching TV, and I'm like, you know what sounds really good? Fruity Pebbles. And so then I have like a fucking, like, not a lot, but like just enough that I can, like, I taste it. It's good. I'm not gaining a lot of weight by having it every night, but I'll still have it.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I can go to bed.
Yeah.
So that's my thing now is, I guess, and back in the day, maybe some Oreos would be a good thing to have with some milk. I like that.
If I did that though, like right before I went to bed, the sugar would probably
Really?
keep me up.
No, I need more concentrated amount of sugar than that to keep me awake.
Okay.
No power in the verse can stop me from going to sleep when I want to go to
Nobody
sleep.
wants to go
All
to
right,
bed
River.
hungry, right?
Yeah.
So, if you're laying there and you're
Yeah.
trying to sleep and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm hungry.
Let me introduce you to drugs, Sam. They will help you go to sleep so fast.
I usually don't have a problem sleeping, but sometimes you
have more
got
of
to
a
eat before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Problem staying asleep. Like I wake up
yeah.
at 3
Oh,
Yeah.
a lot.
You're
and
one
then
of those.
I have a
sometimes,
story about
like, yeah,
that.
it's not great.
The other night, I woke up about 3:00 in the morning.
Is this a how was your week?
Yes. Let's
Sure.
move on to the-
We'll segue. Start with your waking up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Woke up at 3 in the morning and I heard voices.
Ooh.
And I went, oh, the TV must be on. So I pulled up my phone because I have an app that can turn off the TV, and then I don't have to get out of bed.
God, you're so fucking fancy.
I know.
Pinky out
And
over there.
I looked at it and it said that the TV was already off. And I went, okay, I am not going to further investigate the voices in my house. Because at this point, I don't want to know.
Now, let's say that there were actual voices in your house. I'm not sure that is the best
But wait,
action to take.
there's more.
Okay, good.
So apparently my son then woke up around somewhere, probably around the same time, and he heard something. So he, being the braver person, I guess, went to investigate and tried to turn off the TV. Saw that the TV was off, went into the kitchen, and our Alexa, our new Echo Show,
Oh, no.
was playing the news
Oh,
just out of nowhere. So
All right.
I pulled up my app to look at the history to see why it was playing the news, and there were no vocal cues to tell it to turn on, but there were 3. It said audio not for the device,
yeah.
and it was a commercial between the hours of 3 and 5 in the morning saying something Alexa, and it was a commercial for Alexa that activated the devices but there was not a TV on, so I'm really confused.
Yeah, that's your house is haunted.
Apparently.
It's normal. It's fine.
Sounds like some poltergeist shit.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on in my house.
Do your dogs ever just start barking at the nothing? Because Watson does that a lot, and we're like in my bedroom, and then he'll start barking, and I will have heard like a slight noise. I'm just like, well, someone's in the house, but we're not leaving this room, and we'll be safe.
Yep.
It's not the responsible answer, but it's the one we go with.
You can rob the living room or haunt the living
I don't
room
like, but
while I'm in here.
Also, they as soon as they enter my house, they will see I have nothing of value.
If that happens to us and Patty starts barking or growling about something he hears out in the living room, because we keep our bedroom door shut, and I'll just open the door and just let him out. I'll be like, "You first, buddy. Go find out what it is."
Well, sometimes,
Because he'll scare him away more than I will.
well,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, Watson, he's a very inconsistent guard dog because, like, sometimes he will hear something, but then other times, like, my mom is in the house before he even like deigns to notice that someone has driven up, opened
here.
the door. I'd be like, "Oh, hi, human." Worthless. I'm just like,
Big helper.
I will attack the air, but I will not bother you if there's people in this instance. But when there's a bunch of friends over, gonna let you know every time one of them gets here.
Your mom's like, "Oh, hi, Jamie," and Watson's like, "Hey, your mom's here."
Be like, thanks for the heads up, buddy. So how's the rest of your week be?
Good. As you know, I run this town. So
Run this show.
I did volunteer for our music and arts booster program, and we served some pancakes on Thursday,
Pancakes.
which means that I ate a bunch of pancakes. That was
Excellent.
great. There are pancakes in my freezer now because of this event. And I started watching the TV show Winona Earp,
Oh, yes.
which I actually am really enjoying. When the first couple of episodes, I wasn't sure if I was going to get into it, but it's very much like a girl power supernatural.
Oh, nice.
And I really enjoy it.
Is there any relation to the other ERP?
Yes.
Okay. Is the part played by Winona Judd?
The part is played by
Winona Ryder?
you, Lance, would not understand the joy
Yes.
of this
All right.
character. It
What
is
the fuck
played
does that
by
mean?
because
Mrs. McMurray from
Oh my God.
Letterkenny.
yes.
And every once in a while, she'll
great.
mumble something, and I just lose it because it's straight up Mrs. McMurray
Well,
coming out of her mouth.
It's, I guess I will say it's nice to know that she's moved on to better things.
Excuse you.
I think that one's
She's
been
still
canceled
doing
and
Letterkenny.
Letterkenny has not.
I don't know chronologically when
I think
certain
they were
shows
happening
came
at
out.
the same time for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, congrats to her.
Yes, it's a
Congraties.
great show. I recommend
What
it.
is it on? What service is it?
The Flicks?
I'm watching it on Netflix.
Okay. I'll have to tell Kate because if it's like
I think she would
supernatural, she'll
enjoy it
probably
a lot.
totally dig it. Yeah.
I've always gotten that vibe from it. I'm like, yeah.
And there's representation.
Nice.
Good.
So
We
it's
heart
really nice.
that.
And the costumes are amazing.
Does that
Cool.
make or break a show now?
I feel
Because
like
then
it
I
needs-
feel like if that's the thing, then it's kind of more forced.
well,
right?
that's the thing is it needs to be done right.
Yeah.
There was a show that I watched before where they had a character who was like in a love triangle for a long time, and then suddenly she's making out with a woman.
Oh.
And they were like, look, representation. And I went, okay, no, that's pandering.
Yeah.
Those are
right.
two different things.
Yes, there's a difference between representation and pandering. And because, like, I've been seeing, like, reaction videos to Encanto, and, like, so many kids are so excited to see people like them on the screen.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important to have representation, not pandering. Because for the longest time, like, unless you were a white dude or just white, you're not seeing yourself in entertainment.
And straight.
And straight, yes. So I think it is important because, and I do like it when it's done well.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it needs to be done well.
Yeah. It seems like there's a line there. And I'm all for everyone being more inclusive and showing all types of genders and nationalities, but it's like sometimes it doesn't always work like that, right? In certain shows and certain scenarios, especially ones that have already been established. Becky brought this up about the new Sex and the City season and how it went from all the people that you already knew, and it's like she felt like they were just checking off boxes. Okay, now this one's covered, now this one's covered, and it's not impossible to think that these characters would meet these people over the amount of years that have gone by. But it just seemed like it was like, here you go.
Well, and I feel like for that show in particular, they were trying to do course correction because there had been lots of problematic storylines during the show's run.
Really?
Yeah, like one time Carrie was dating a person who was bi, and she makes the comment about like how it's just a stop to gay town or something along those lines. I never watched Sex and the City, so I don't know that, or know if that is
I did watch it.
misquoting.
I don't remember that, but it
was in
seems
an earlier
entirely
season.
possible.
But so
Yeah.
like stuff like that, like delegitimizing certain sexualities, like that's not okay. And
Right.
they knew, I think, when they reprised it, that they couldn't keep that stance and be on the air because although they could get away with it when it was originally produced, there's no way you're going to be able to still do that now because
Right.
it's just not okay. Like people have a right to be seen and heard for who they are, and you're not going to delegitimize it anymore.
Right.
And I think you're right, Lance. It does a lot of times right now feel like checking the boxes and trying, let's include this, let's include
Well, and
this.
it's
And I
probably
think
where
that's-
we're at.
Yeah.
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
That is how it's going to feel until it's the norm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we don't even notice anymore.
Yeah.
Which, let's get there. That'd be great.
And
Yes.
I think it's a lot easier in movies and even in they've been doing a great job of it in even the Star Wars universe. They've had all types represented. Even in most recently, we just finished the Book of Boba Fett,
No spoilers.
which was fantastic. And let me tell you what just happened.
I am still several episodes behind.
We burned through the last 3. So I thought that there was going to be 8, but there's only 7. We've discussed this before. I don't look
You don't
ahead.
check, yep.
And so I just assumed it was going to be 8 because for anybody that hasn't seen any of it, it feels a lot like Mandalorian in the way that it's set up. And it's the same people directing it, the same, Dave Filoni and
Is Favreau involved?
because
He did Mandalorian, right?
He
I'm just curious.
Did they brought in Dave for some stuff, especially the Ahsoka stuff. That's not like a big spoiler. I don't think that's been out for a while.
I wasn't there yet.
But yeah,
I haven't seen season 2.
they
It's fine. That's on me.
But yeah, I can't remember if Favreau was involved in this one or not.
I'm just curious.
It feels like maybe he was. But I know they had a lot of like repeat directors, including Bryce Dallas Howard, and her episode, the most recent one that I saw was real good. So I was pretty excited about that. Which we do have to talk about another thing that she's involved in eventually.
Is it?
But it is.
I am glad
I'm
to
assuming
hear.
what you're gonna say because I'm wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm glad to hear that the last few episodes are enjoyable because I was, as we talked about it last year.
It's dragging a bit. Yeah.
Last week it was slow.
It's been a long week.
Has been.
I was finding it hard to pay attention because it just moves so slow.
It picks up a lot. And
molasses.
if you are familiar with Star Wars and some of the characters involved there, you get to see somebody that is pretty exciting. So that's cool. Yeah. Well, you get to see a few things that are pretty exciting if
I was
it's the
gonna
last
pull
3.
somebody out that didn't make any sense, and then I couldn't come up with any.
Jar Jar.
I wonder.
Oh
Jar Jar. Miss that guy.
nope.
Misa thinks you don't.
There was what was the book that came out later on, I'm pretty sure it's in the new canon, but they explained where Jar Jar ended up, and it was not pretty. He did not fare well in the universe.
Well, to be fair,
I'll have to look that up for you guys so you can know.
I remember, like, he kind of allowed for a lot of terrible things to happen, so maybe it was cosmic karma.
Yeah, well, Misa sad. It's no good.
Did he end up as like a rug on the floor?
I'll look it up. I'll find it because we'll revisit this.
In Hercules, that's what happens to Scar.
Oh, that's right. Fun
Maybe
fact,
not on the floor, but
Hercules I had not seen until maybe 5 years ago.
Different movie.
So good though.
Yeah, it was, as Lance has said before, it was in the gap.
Yeah.
When I was not into Disney anymore, although I never was really not into Disney. But my daughter was also not.
Bite your tongue.
interested yet.
Quick, call IXII. It's so funny.
Was that the end of your week?
I think the
Nice.
only other exciting thing was that Sam and I had a lovely conversation with our local theater owner.
Oh, was it positive? Like,
It was.
You guys got what you wanted?
We came to a great agreement, and we just, I mean, it's always fun to chat about the space and the historical aspect of our theater, which is 108 years old. And it's just, it was fun.
That's good.
All right. This sums it up. I feel like the book went into more detail, but this is on the good old Star Wars fandom site. In the years that followed, Binks once again became an outcast on Naboo due to his role in the rise of the Empire. By the time of the Battle of Jakku, Binks was a street performer in the capital city of Theed, where he was scorned by adults but beloved by children who came to watch his antics. Ended up on the streets.
And then he
Sorry.
died
Well, I mean,
and
eventually.
became a rug.
I don't think.
Are all street performers living on the streets? Like, this is a legit question.
I thought that's where they made it seem like when I first read about it that he was. It seemed like he did end up on the streets, but I could be wrong. Maybe he has a nice little hut.
If your question is regarding America, the answer is no. You do have to, in most cities, get a license to be a street performer.
The rules are different on Naboo.
But I was also thinking, like, the outfits they wear and stuff, like, need some care. Like,
Yeah. So anyway, glad I could help you all out in that department.
How was your week?
My week.
Oh,
I know, that's why I kept my week short. So we
It
could
was
save room for Lance.
Very interesting. Where does one start when you've had a week like I have had?
Probably with our last recording when this week kicked off.
Yeah.
Because that's when the trouble started right after we finished.
Yeah. Where do I go here? Basements are terrible, and we have a house that apparently really likes to get water in it, and I'm not a big fan of that.
So it likes to get wet.
It likes to get real wet. Hey, girl. Sorry.
I actually heard your basement say that when we walked in. It was real weird.
It's like every step. It's a new saying. So a lot of people run. Yeah, we got water in our basement because the ground is frozen and the water needed a place to go when some of the snow was melting. And so I'm going to try to wrap this up as quickly as I can because a lot of people have already heard it. But wet floors, wet padding under the carpets, and all of that. So got it all cleaned up and replaced the padding. Everything was all nice and dry. Less than 24 hours later, it rained outside. Like, I don't know why it's fucking raining in February, but it did. And it was like double the amount of water in our basement right away. And so we asked a company to come out because we don't really know anything about anything when it comes to basements. And we asked this company to come out and tell us what they think we should do. And the guy was super nice. He made a lot of sense with what he was saying, but it's very expensive what they want to do. And it also means that we would have to remove a lot of our walls, and it would end up having to be like a plastic wall that then drains any water that would potentially try to come in and put it down. They would have to take a jackhammer to our cement and add in like a drip system that would then flow, and then they would jackhammer all the way to the other side of our basement where the sump pumps are. And because we're fancy and we have 2. So there's that. Now that guy left, and I talked to my wife about everything that he said. And while he was here, he went outside and took a picture of this crack that was in our foundation. And at a glance, I'm like, yeah, that's fucked up. And it seems like a lot of water would be coming in from there. So we went to Menards and we got a bunch of stuff to try to remedy the problem ourselves before we drop damn near 10 grand and everything that we need to do. And then I get outside and I look at the crack that he's talking about, and it's not a crack at all. What it is it is a gap between the brick facade on the front right-hand side of our house and the actual foundation of the house. So that's supposed to be there. Now, another friend of mine had said that there still could be some problems there, but there's some ways to work around it. So basically, we're going to try to redo the terrain around the outside of the house and hope that we can get everything to flow away. Yeah, I don't know. Aside from this room, the entire basement's pretty much a shit show right now. But what can you do? And then there was this morning when I was woken up by a couple of my children saying that there are basically Sam ran in and said, Dad, there's a Squishmallow event at Five Below. We've got to go. This is a thing that my kids have gotten into. And so let me give a little backstory as to how my night went before this happened.
I'm sorry.
So
The fact that you have like such hardcore collector children just deserts.
Yes.
They're waking you up.
So last night, we watched all of the remaining 3 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, which, like I said, was great. Then I played a bunch of video games until, one game in particular, until about 1 o'clock. Prior to 1 o'clock, at about 12, I had taken some, let's call them performance-enhancing drugs, which sometimes make it so time can move a little bit faster than you think that it's moving. And those kicked in.
Is it Viagra?
Those are sort of performance. Yeah, there you go.
I was just like, what?
Then, so that kicked in at about like 1 or so. And so I got done playing. I played a few more games after Mike logged off because we were playing together, just murdering noobs left and right like you do. And the new Halo game, shout out Halo Infinite, not a sponsor. And so I thought to myself, you're not really that tired right now. So why don't you listen to this podcast that you wanted to listen to? So I did. And I knew that I was only going to listen to part of it because it was like fucking 3 hours long. So I was like, you know what my wife would like? She would like it if I cleaned the house a little bit. So I put my AirPods in and started cleaning, albeit slowly, but still making progress.
Better than making the house dirtier, I will say. And making a mess.
And didn't really pay attention. Sure. Didn't really pay attention to anything else besides the podcast and the cleaning. And before I knew it, the end of the podcast happened. And it was 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow, buddy.
So I'm like, I have to go to bed. And so I did, and probably finally fell asleep shortly after 4. And so then, like, for some reason, very similar to what happens to you, I woke up at about 6:30. And I'm like, this is bullshit. And so I got up, I went to the bathroom like you do, and then I got back to bed. And then my body's like, you should go to the bathroom again. And I don't know how much time was in between these things. It's like, that feeling where you know that you've slept a little bit, but you don't know how much.
Yeah.
So then I go back to the bathroom. The window in there has a direct view to where the sun's coming up. And so I'm like, it's brighter now. So I go directly back to sleep. Then it happened again. Clearly the sun has come up enough. And I'm like, fuck this. Like, I need to get sleep. I've got so much stuff that's happening today. I need to make sure that I get some rest. And so then I was getting solid sleep until like I said, just after 10. And Sam's like, Dad, we gotta go. And I'm like, fuck. So then we thought that this thing that Five Below does, like every couple weeks, it's these stupid ass, it's the equivalent of Beanie Babies. But they're like just
pillows.
Yeah, but they're basically like pillows. So you're just wasting money on a pillow that looks like a duck. And so I'm driving like 85 to try to get there before 11 because we were there a couple weeks ago. There's a huge line outside, so we want to make sure that we like at least get something. But I'm like, at first I was ready to go. I didn't shower or anything. I'm like, all right, let's go. And then I heard Kara's down in the bathroom, like brushing her hair. I'm like, you can brush your fucking hair in the car. Oh my God. So we get there and I let Kara out. I have her run in. Turns out they went against what they normally do and they opened at 10 today.
Oh.
But it turned out okay because it seemed like they must have had more in the back because a lot of the popular ones were still there and it was very full, like whatever bin that they put them in. And so we got some stuff and then I stopped a timeout to help clean up from last night, grabbed coffee, came home, and then I went directly back to bed and then woke up at 2:30. Just enough time to get ready for you guys to come over.
Yes.
And so here we are.
That's amazing.
That was, again, not my entire week, but that is the freshest portion of it. So I might have left something out there. I'm not sure.
Look, I don't know how it works with kids because I don't have any, but
You want some?
did it ever like cross your mind where you were just like, they were like, Dad, we got to go. And you were like, no. I know you don't want to disappoint your children.
I can't.
But also encouraging their obsessive, want for collecting things.
Yeah.
I remember
No,
hearing
I
that
get
as
it.
a child.
You're like, well, I'm kind of an obsessive collector myself. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying
right,
you
yeah.
probably
It's a trait
I wasn't
you
taking
share.
it personally.
acknowledge
Yeah.
that. And so, yeah, I don't, maybe you're like, I don't want my kids to do that or something. I don't know.
It's mostly harmless at Five Below in particular because it's like $5 a thing or whatever. So it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And yes, not wanting to disappoint them is a thing. And I think that does, you hear people talk about like every other generation, they don't want to be the way that their parents were in whatever shitty way that they were.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really bother me. And this morning in particular, I'm like, well, I had a little bit of sleep. I can get some more later. I feel like I can power through. The biggest motivator of all, though, is that I knew that I would already be in Ames and ergo could get a coffee from someplace. So that wasn't so bad. I knew that could happen afterwards.
Right.
Which, I mean, clearly I could make one at home, but they're better when you don't make them at home.
Sure.
And so, yeah, there's been times where I tell them no, but I know that a lot of people that know me probably don't believe me when I say that. But we do tell them no, and I do tell them no, but it's usually like, here's the thing. We're not going to do this, but because of this. Like when we were out, Sam was like, Dad, if we're going to the coffee shop, can I get a hot chocolate? And I'm like, bro, you just got like 3 fucking pillows from this place that I woke up to get you. And I haven't had anything besides a lack of sleep So I'm going to go get myself a coffee, and you will not be getting a hot chocolate today because it's ridiculous that they charge $3.50 for a hot chocolate that's this big from the same place. Like, it's the same price as a coffee, which I understand is made similarly.
Yeah.
But still, it's chocolate water, and I'm not going to pay $3.50 for that.
If they're not putting like any sort of special milk in there.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck you. I'm not paying that much.
And he doesn't mean almond, ladies and gentlemen. So there's
Potato.
that. Potato milk. Ugh.
I get that because
I thought I saw a thing that there's a new potato milk.
What?
That does ring a bell.
Don't do that. I got nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
I got nipples, great.
Fine.
Yeah, what
Look
were
it
you-
up.
Well, I was just
What were you saying?
I get that because, I was, as you were talking, I was thinking to myself, I still kind of hold it against my mom and dad that they were like, it was a school night back in 1986 when I was 9 years old. And they're like, you can't watch game 7 of the World Series. Watch your favorite team win the World Series. You have to go to bed at 8 o'clock. So you don't get to stay up and watch this game.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
And the Mets haven't won the World Series since then. So it's like, I still think to
Is this
back
what
to
you're going to
myself-
say at your mom's funeral?
Yeah. I already know. No, but like,
You did me dirty,
I
Mom.
tease my mom about it now, but I tease her about it now and it's not really a big deal. But I tease her about it now and she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like,
Yeah, right.
Because there are these once in a lifetime things. So I think it's good that you do that kind of stuff.
And we do. Yeah. Here's the thing. I am not the parent to go to for like school appreciation. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Because I am the first one that and you guys have been there, when there's like a Star Wars premiere, I'm like, guess who's not going to school the next day because we're going to be up and at the theater at midnight for this showing.
Right.
And as long as my kids want to go, then I'm like, and it does help that they are smart. Like, they're ridiculously smart. I assume somehow they got that from me somewhere deep down. I have to be.
Not the teacher, Mom.
But yeah, so it's just like they're gonna be fine. They're gonna bounce. I don't care if they've missed. I think we've talked about this before, but at the school here, if they've missed 5 days, then they send a letter home, and it's like, fuck you.
Well, and it also helps that your kids are still like younger, like in elementary school. Like, I know one of them's now in junior high, and it's not.
But she's also got straight A's.
Yes, like she's never.
And really, depending upon the scenario, she will eventually she'll give in and realize she's going to have a better time. But she doesn't like to miss school, and it's not necessarily always because she would have to make up the work. She just really wants to go to school, which I don't understand at all.
We do exist. Excuse you.
With the exception of, my main goal at school was to just hang out with my friends.
Sure.
Yeah.
The assignments were an obstacle. So I get that part.
Yes.
But anyway, I don't know how we got there, but that was my week.
Cool.
Good week.
Yeah.
I did forget to brag about my child.
Yeah?
So on Saturday, the middle school did solo ensemble contest. And Leif performed a solo on his baritone. And he got a 1 rating, which
Nice.
is very good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What grade? How is he that old already?
He is in 6th grade.
It's like I blinked.
Yeah.
And
12?
he.
It's 6, 7, 8 that do this contest thing.
So he's 12 years old.
Oh, he is 12. Yes.
Oh, that's what I asked.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were asking about grade.
Yeah, senior.
right.
She was.
In let's see, less than a month, Kara can get her permit.
Yeah, I don't.
How you
know.
feeling about that,
Man.
Dad?
Well, it doesn't mean I have to let her drive.
It's true.
True. Yeah, you don't.
So my birthday, I have a.
One of those things you can say no about.
You can get your permit.
Hey,
That's
hey,
fine.
hey, let me talk
She's
about
just
my
gonna
kid.
hate you for it later.
I just wanted Jamie to feel old. That's.
Wait, let me talk about my kid.
I want you to.
So, yes, I have never heard him play solo before because he does not practice at home.
Oh.
He plays baritone, which is very heavy, so he doesn't
Yeah.
like to bring it back and forth from school.
Oh, that's funny.
So I was really impressed with how good he is because I've never heard him like that
That's
before.
cool.
So
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Is it just because he doesn't like to lug it around, or is he kind of embarrassed to play it at home? Like I remember being in band and I hated that other people in the house could hear me practice.
Sure.
If I'm practicing or any other thing that I don't want to do in front of other people, I just don't want to do it at home when other people are home.
That's
right?
practicing.
That's
I think
exactly
what you're referring to. Yeah.
Practice makes perfect,
Right,
ladies and
that's right.
gentlemen. Just so you know. Continue.
I think it's mostly that he doesn't want to lug it back.
I'm
back and
glad,
forth.
damn it. I'm glad we were hovering in that direction while she's talking about how proud of her kid she is. That's great.
It's fine.
So, Jamie,
Garbage people.
you had something to say.
Well, I was gonna say to finish the sentence, I didn't want to leave our podcaster people on edge when you're saying that you don't have to let your daughter drive. So I have a summer birthday. Did not get my learner's permit till the following February because I was about to start driver's ed like the next week. So I had to get my permit.
Man,
So that was rough.
driver's ed. That was a thing.
Well, and
wasn't
that
it?
was a mistake
Yeah.
for me to take it that early anyway, because then I had to take the driving test. And by the time I did my driver's test, I had broken my foot. So then I was taking it with a broken foot.
No.
And it's just like, this all could have been avoided.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
That had to have been miserable.
It was fine. I mean, I just slipped off the walking cast and put a shoe on, but dumb.
I didn't learn shit from driver's ed. What a fucking joke.
I
that
learned
was.
that the guy that
I had
they
to
brought.
spend a bunch of time in the summer, like,
Well, and so we had.
Ugh.
I liked. So I didn't take. So you could either take it in the summer, or if you had an early enough birthday, you could do the spring session, and that's what I did. But I had to go to school early for it. But they bring in like an outside contractor to do it then. And I remember some kid got sick. He took the rag, the whiteboard rag, and like used that to wipe it up, and then just put it on the floor. And then we were all not having it. And so finally he buzzes the office. He's like, well, apparently we need a janitor to come in and like work. Like, yes, you do need to bring a janitor in to clean and sanitize when a kid has thrown up at, like,
Yes.
we were just all so
I mean, I would
appalled.
imagine so.
We were not impressed. And he fell asleep the first time I drove on the interstate. I'd never driven on the interstate, even with my parents. And he fell asleep. And I'm like, this is fun.
Excellent.
So I brake checked him. It was great. Like, so he jerked forward.
Nice.
And he couldn't tell that I hadn't had to deal with it because he was asleep.
I enjoyed driver's ed.
I'm a little petty sometimes.
Our driver's ed was taught by the football coach.
Ooh.
And so that was fun. And I got to drive with, they put you in groups for
Yeah.
driving. And it was me and two of my good friends who were guys. And we would, when we did interstate driving, we got to go to the record store
Ooh.
called Off the Record.
Nice.
Sure.
And we would get to drive there and then stop and shop and then switch drivers and continue.
damn.
My best friend and I used to sit in the back seat when our other friend was driving. And have you ever played Padiddle?
Yes.
So instead of, apparently some people play it by flicking the ceiling of the car.
Yeah.
We beat the shit out of each other.
That is for slug bugs.
Oh no, it was anytime there was a burnt out light, we would beat the shit out of each other while our other friend was trying to drive. And our instructor was laughing. It
That is amazing.
was a great experience.
I also
Wow.
ended up driving with he and I were best friends like when we were kids, and we kind of grew apart. Like we were fine with each other, but we just didn't have the same circle of friends anymore. But we were driving partners. And when said instructor fell asleep, I look back and I'm like, Brian, what do I do? And he's just like, yeah, I don't know. I do not know the protocol here. Like it's study hall. We need to get back to school. I'm like, fair point. We do need to get back to school.
You know what we need to get back to?
The news?
Well, eventually. But Jamie brought us things.
Oh, I did.
I thought we should
did.
do that.
They're little callback presents, Super Bowl presents.
But the news is next.
the news is next.
Stay tuned. I'm not.
You need hands? Oh, Jesus.
So I have a Settlers of Catan dice game, which Sam, you want to play it later?
No.
Is there
That's on my side of the couch. Get it out. Get it out. Get away.
I saw
Well,
that.
I can only imagine what my gift is.
That's delightful.
So you don't have it?
No, I don't.
Oh, good.
You would know. Jonas would have opened it.
Well, I didn't know if you've gotten it since. I thought if we ever are drunk at your house and try and set up a game, this would be a better choice.
Easier, yeah.
Hey. Oh, man. This is awesome.
I got you who you thought the leader of the Ghostbusters were.
Well, that's a great lead in to our poll that went up
Yes.
last week. We can talk about that in a minute. Yeah, I've got a Peter Venkman action figure. Included in this is a proton pack, and we've got one of the little, I guess I don't know what they call these things. These little, what do they call them?
One of the monsters?
Yeah, just one of the monsters, one of the dogs, I guess, or whatever. This is awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is very cool.
Those are the
This is not.
ones that I've been trying to get.
Oh, this is not Settlers of Catan
No.
related.
Jamie, did you make the bags?
I did.
They are super cute.
Well, thank you. I actually made them this morning, so sorry. Like, some of them are not the best, but
Nice.
I'm like, this is great.
I got the Mad Notes. On
Yes.
Are we
You're
ready?
such a music person. Well, you're all music people, but
Here goes. Oh, it's tied.
it's just a, yeah, it's just
Lance
a simple
is
bow
opening
tie.
his now.
Drum roll, please. Thank you. Excellent choice and the correct answer.
No. You will find.
This is Ray Stans. Oh, you don't have to tell me how many people are wrong on the internet.
Excuse you.
I already know.
I think it's just one or two on the entire internet.
On the entire internet.
That's great.
the 3 people thinking Ray is the leader.
I love it.
So I
Here
hope
we
you
are.
appreciate them,
Yeah.
but
Here, we'll
or like them.
put this right in front of Sam.
And I will also point out for you,
Hey, get that out of here.
Lancey Poo, these
Yes.
are also Hasbro.
That's awesome. I like that. I like it. Nice. Well
Sam's
played.
gonna leave.
Veronica is covering Sam up with her die. With so it's like a mini game
It's
where you just play it with the dice.
I don't know. We can add it to our
Look.
tournament of games.
I mean, that
We
looks
should.
like more fun than the actual game.
see, yeah, we
Yeah.
can play this version instead of the other version when we
Yeah.
do our.
And I have several that we can look at, several like smaller version games that I got from Joe's.
Oh, perfect.
Ah.
So that would be fun to go
Cool.
through some of those.
Nice.
Thank you,
Nice.
Jamie.
You are welcome.
Very
I hope
cool
you
gift.
enjoy them. Yes.
Is it time for the news?
I think so.
Excellent. It's like music to my ears. I like it. Does anybody have any news that they would like
I
to?
sure do.
I like it.
Look, our friend, he's not our friend.
Oh no.
Anymore.
You know, our I wish who was our friend Lin-Manuel Miranda is nominated for an
Yes.
Oscar
Yeah.
for the second time. He is on a quest, not probably him personally, but he could potentially become the 17th EGOT winner. If you don't know what an EGOT is, it's
do.
winning an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony all in your career. And so he's actually technically going for a PGOT, which includes the Pulitzer Prize that he won. Some people also think a Peabody Award is included as the P. That can go either way for winning a PGOT, but we're not going to focus on that right now.
Yeah.
The bit of news I have to share is regarding the EGOT he could potentially win. I have his list of all the awards he's won that are in these categories. I'm not going to go through them, but he is currently nominated for Best Original Song for Dos Oruguitas. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know.
Probably not.
From Encanto. So that's the Oscar that he is up for.
I didn't realize that was the one he was nominated for.
It is. It is. So
I did find that really interesting that that's the song they chose.
yeah.
It's a great song.
Because that's the one when they fall in love, right? Because it's the.
I believe it is the backstory one.
Okay.
I haven't seen the show, but
Oh, you need to.
here is where I'm going to have to lean on you, Veronica. I'm going to need your expertise, your theater expertise, I think maybe perhaps on this. I thought we could play a little game because,
here we go.
because there have been 16 other EGOT winners. I thought it would be fun to see if we could go around the room and see if everyone could name one. So, at least one. So, I will start with you, Veronica, and see if you can
hate
tell me
when you start with me.
who could win, who has won an EGOT in their career.
Ooh, that's a tricky one.
I've got the list.
Okay, first for our audience and not for me because I clearly already know. Say it again. What
Okay.
the EGOT
An
stands
EGOT
for.
is if you have won an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony in your career. That's the EGOT.
I think Stephen Colbert is on there.
Stephen Colbert is not on the list.
Sad.
I don't remember why I thought that. Oh, it's from the previous timeline that I jumped from.
So I will pass it over to Jamie.
Yes.
Do you have a guess for someone that has won the EGOT?
I don't, because I'm really bad at following actors. I do know Tracy Morgan from 30 Rock tried to get one.
That was a great episode
Yes.
of that show.
Okay, Lance, we're 0 for 2 here. I need you to come through for me. Who has won the EGOT?
All right. An Emmy,
A Grammy,
Grammy,
Oscar,
and a Tony.
correct.
Oh boy. See, the Grammy one's tricky. Who would that?
Well, and you have to remember, like,
how
narrators
obvious
can get
are these
Grammys.
people when you look at the list?
There are some.
Which is why I thought Stephen Colbert, because I believe he was at least nominated for his spoken album.
There are some people that you have probably never heard of, but there are some very famous people on this list.
Grammy is tricky, man. Because acting would be for Oscar, you know, for the Oscar, it could be stage
Sure.
or
Directing,
Screen.
producing.
yeah. Fuck. I don't even have a guess. I don't know where to go because I keep going to actors.
Okay.
But the problem is anybody that I think of, I'm like, they don't fucking sing.
Yeah.
So
I can start throwing out some clues here for you
Ooh,
guys.
yes,
would be great.
clues
Yeah.
would be
Okay,
great.
clues are good. Okay, so think about people maybe that have. Think about some composers.
Oh, John Williams.
Nope.
Stephen Sondheim.
No.
What? That is a travesty.
Well, probably.
that needs to be remedied.
But think about some composers maybe that have done some really classic shows. Like think about some of the old standard Broadway shows.
Oh, is it Sound of Music? Whoever wrote that, and that was their last show. Who did they do? Who did that?
who did do
Is
that?
it Hammerstein?
It's not. It's the other one.
Rogers?
Yes, Richard Rogers.
The other one.
We got it. Richard Rogers has won the EGOT. Yes, he is one of them. He did Sound of Music, South Pacific, King and I.
Does Rogers appreciate being called the other one?
I mean, he's
I think so.
first, actually. So.
Yes. Well,
What if I said somebody that's a Broadway legend? They are known as being
Hugh Jackman.
a great dancer, and they were in West Side Story.
Interesting.
Oh,
And-
Cheetah Rivera.
No. That's
The
what
other
Kate
one?
said when I asked her.
That's
It's
funny.
the other person.
Well, she's the go-to.
Rita Moreno.
Yes, Rita Moreno has won the EGOT.
I don't fucking know who that is.
okay,
how do you know who that is?
Here's a really
Have
huge.
we met?
Yeah.
Here's a really huge name that everyone probably knows. This is an actress
It doesn't matter.
that is known for her elegant look, for her humanitarian causes,
it's
for being in.
Audrey Hepburn.
Yes, Audrey Hepburn has an EGOT.
That
Yes,
is
very good.
amazing.
Very good.
The hell did she
What
sing?
did she get a Tony for?
She got a Tony for. She had like a. Well, she was in musicals early in her career.
Okay.
And then she won a Grammy for like a spoken word album for children or something like that. Yeah.
Because her musicals were all dubbed.
What about someone that might have directed some kind of funny movies like, I don't know, Spaceballs or
Mel Brooks.
The Brooks.
Yeah, Mel Brooks.
I love
Really?
Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep, that's good.
Maybe somebody that was a composer for some really huge 80s musicals. Think about the biggest 80s musicals and who was the composer for them.
80s musicals.
Yes, think about 80s musicals. This should be easy.
I already said Sondheim.
As in like
Okay, guess again.
actual
so
stage
not the same
musicals?
one?
Sure, yeah.
Which ones are from the 80s?
Well, what are I don't know. What are great? Well, maybe not great, but well-known 80s musicals.
but I'm not sure which ones came out of the 80s. Like, is Chicago from the 80s?
No.
When did Chicago come out?
I think it
90s?
originally came out in like the when did that originally come out? I don't know. But it's not Chicago.
Okay.
I know one of the recordings is from 1996.
What's like the most obvious 80s musical you can think of?
I don't fucking...
Into the Woods.
The Wedding Singer.
I'm sticking
Really?
with Sondheim.
Do you think that maybe it could be related?
Oh, it's Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yes, it is.
Oh, see, you're...
Yes,
I,
it is.
I,
Yeah,
this is
I'm
not
trying
my
to ignore him.
bag, baby.
Because he
Okay.
did love. I won't.
No, Love Never Dies was great.
I won't torture
It's
you. I
weird.
won't torture you anymore. There's a few other names you may know though. If you know Marvin Hamlish, he did The
Yeah.
Way We Were. What about Whoopi Goldberg?
Really?
She hasn't he got? Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, yep.
And also Tim Rice, who was a producer for Lion King, and Aladdin and Evita, and also
Yeah.
John Legend.
Oh,
And Alan Menken. You guys probably know.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
he did
yeah.
Hercules.
He did.
Yep.
Alan
and
Menken also
Little
did
Shop of
Little Shop.
Horrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did John Legend do? And like, I guess I didn't realize he had done like, what was his Tony for?
He got a Tony for, wasn't it for the live? Didn't he get one for? Did he get one for the live action thing that he did? Wasn't
Are you
he in
talking
one of the
about Jesus
shows?
Christ Superstar?
Yeah. Can you win
I
that
don't-
for live action?
No,
stuff?
unless
Oh.
he also did it on stage.
I'm not sure. I could go and look it up,
We
but
should
well, no, that's
look
I,
into
I
it.
can look it up.
I want
later.
to know.
Okay.
so. Oh, also,
I'm interested.
the Let It Go guy, Robert Lopez. He wrote.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway,
I was really bad at that game.
so
It's sad.
sorry. I know they're not like super obvious names, but I thought it was interesting.
That is
That's
interesting.
That is very interesting.
So I got that.
That's awesome.
you-
I got another
know-
news thing, but we can wait on it.
You sure?
No, go for
I
it.
have,
It's not
I have a
timely?
question based on your game.
Okay.
What do you know what Whoopi Goldberg won a Tony for?
No.
Well, she had.
I'm wondering if it's for The Color Purple.
Was she actually in?
I believe she produced it.
Oh, okay.
Because she was in the movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. I think she was in the movie.
Whoopi's also in the news right now.
Yeah.
Because she said some stuff that she apparently wasn't supposed to say on a show where you're supposed to be able to talk about pretty much anything. So she is currently not on the show, I think, unless they've let her back on.
Well, I
now.
think she had a 2-week.
Is that what it is? Paid vacation.
Well, initially when I saw the news blurb, it was she was going to be off for 2 weeks.
I believe, and I'm summing up here, but I believe she said something to the effect that the Holocaust was not about race
Oh.
or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I think she did.
And so they were like, "You should go home."
So her Tony was for producing Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Oh, okay.
Right role, wrong show.
What makes somebody thoroughly modern?
Everything today
All
is
right.
thoroughly
I
modern.
was just wondering.
John Legend got his for his role as executive producer for Jesus Christ Superstar live in concert.
Okay.
Oh, that's different.
Yes, because then in parentheses it says he also played Jesus in the performance, but he got it as his role as executive producer.
I think the live in concert one is the one that's currently on Broadway HD with Tim Minchin in it. And that one was great. He was
Love
so
Tim
good.
Minchin. I don't know why he would ever come to the Midwest, but if he does, I would totally go to that show.
He should also be on this show.
Let me see what I can do.
Excellent.
Yeah. Let's get him.
I'm gonna do my news thing, and then we're gonna go to a break, and then we will wrap up the news. But this is just something fun, and it's not actual news, but it was like somebody doing the news. They were discussing like news and whatnot, and then something unfolded. Maybe you have seen this clip floating around out there, but I will pull up this article here. And it is about a news anchor that is pronouncing couch funny, which is interesting because this.
Whoever wrote this headline is amazing.
So it says news anchor pronounces couch funny, gives 12-year-old co-host, who is not in fact 12 in adult man costume, the giggles. But it was kind of funny because I know this anchor because I watched her doing Australia's I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here one season. It was the season that John Barrowman was in.
Oh, sure.
And well, I can't remember if it was the Australian one or if it was the British one. They just happened to be in Australia. So I'm going to play this clip and we'll see what it's all about. You ready? Here goes.
Showing plenty. See, this is like mine.
Yeah.
And Daniel, I want to ask because my cooch is dying, and it's and what and I don't.
What have you been doing to it if it's dying?
Well, the dog pees all over it.
Okay. Well, that's probably why. It's reasonable. Yeah. Nitrogen burns. Try to keep the dog off it, and you'll probably see results.
I don't understand what's going on with my co-host. Did I pick the wrong lawn considering I have a dog?
No.
You got to see this video.
Considering if it's going to be running on it, Cooch has got really good wear and tear tolerance, so it can recover quickly. But no lawn can really withstand dog pee. That's just part of it, part of having a dog.
All right, so the dog's got to go. To save the cooch.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you, guys. This is unreal. Check you out on YouTube because the videos are just terrific.
That's possibly the best segment ever. More great stuff after this break. If we're still on air.
She just doesn't get it.
But also, I've never used couch for lawn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what's happening, right? Like, I've never heard that jargon.
That was delightful.
I was just trying to help with the. Hey, it's another term for vagina.
Yay. Full circle.
All right. Hey, just trying to help out. I didn't know there were more.
It's so funny.
All
There
right.
are plenty more.
All right. Hey, we don't have an actual commercial yet. So this is a commercial. We're going to make this real fast. Go to our Patreon, patreon.com/opposite. We've got a bunch of art. Dude, okay. The other day, we talked for there's 40 minutes of extra shit on Patreon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you like hearing us bullshit, it's all up there
If
for
you
you
like
to
our
enjoy.
voices, there's a lot of extra shit there for
Because
you.
we do not stop talking.
Let's take a poll. Whose voice do you like more? Is it the sultry sounds of Sam?
Hello.
Is it the voluptuous voice of Veronica?
Hello.
Is it what's a J word or a J? Like if it's
yes, there's no good J words.
Is it the
Jumbo.
is it the jiggly vibrations of Jamie?
All right.
Or is it the luscious licks of Sam? Or no, Lance.
Yeah.
That would be.
Yeah.
But
That'd be-
I'd lick Sam. Anyway, end of commercial.
And now you know our problems with the J corner.
Are you going to put up a poll for this one?
Maybe, well, yes, but maybe not with our adjectives.
Does anyone out there have a cooch that's dying because a dog keeps peeing on it?
So-
Let us know in the comments.
I did Google it, and there is like couch turf is like a turf.
Oh, that's a thing.
So I don't know if maybe that was what that was in
It could have
reference
been,
to,
yeah.
But because the guy's just like, yeah, no, like lawns are just not great because yes, the nitrogen or whatever.
But the one dude was like totally on board with the conversation.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah.
One guy was laughing, and the other guy was trying
the
to
other
just.
guy.
He was trying to hold it down.
That guy is me when Lance is making a backdoor joke.
I feel like that guy
I
was
don't
like,
even know what
watch,
that joke would be.
I'm going to say it too.
It was a hold my beer moment.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Veronica, do you
Yeah.
have any news?
I don't.
Sad. Anybody else have news? Is the news done?
Sam had another one.
We can be done.
Are you sure?
I think
Yeah.
we better
Because
move on.
nobody else is doing any news. So
okay.
I feel like
Well,
all
okay,
right.
so I didn't want to so like the big news item I feel this week is going to be the Super Bowl. So we'll go
Yes.
back. I have some science news for next week that we can
Right.
go over.
Oh, all right. Well, that was weird that we didn't end it before the break, but news is done. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking around for the news. That was great. Let's see. Anything else been going on that we need to discuss? That's not necessarily news related, but
Yes.
that you wanted to talk
I think
about.
we have to talk
We
about
have a couple
Disney.
movies we need to talk about before we wrap up for the day.
All right. Let's do it.
So this week in Worst Disney Sequel of 2022, we have Descendants: The Royal Wedding versus The Jungle Book 2.
Indeed.
So, Veronica, I believe you volunteered earlier to summarize one of these
I will
for
summarize.
us. And Sam, you watched both of them, yes?
Yeah, I'm ready for either. Or
Great.
both.
Then you can, whatever one Veronica does not summarize, feel free to do the other.
Fair enough.
So I will summarize The Jungle Book 2. And please bear in mind that I was multitasking while I watched this movie.
Please tell us what you were multitasking with so our listeners know.
I was playing some video games.
Great.
A little bit of
Perfect.
Zelda. So, The Jungle Book 2 opens with Mowgli in the village.
I will say, okay, just I did like the paper shadow puppet situation at the opening credits.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was artistically interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I looked at the screen.
No, that's
at
fair.
that
There
point.
was some shadow puppetry for like a hot second, and then they
Oh,
went
yeah,
on
yeah,
into
I
the movie. It was a blink and you'll miss it. Thank you.
So Mowgli feels the call of the jungle, and they sing a great song called "The Jungle Rhythm," and I wrote that's a bop.
It is boppy.
And then Mowgli gets kidnapped by Baloo, who pulls him back into the jungle, and then the girl and the little boy follow. And then Mowgli is confused because he doesn't know how to fight off Shere Khan without the Master Sword. So he has to go into the jungle to pull the Master Sword, but he doesn't have enough hearts. So then he has to fight with some moblins. And then the moblins are a little bit more powerful than they have been in the past. So he uses a remote bomb to bomb them from above. Am I on track here?
Wait a minute.
Do you want me to take over this one?
You might want to jump in.
So what actually happens, although Mowgli does go with Baloo back into the jungle, and the girl and the little boy chase after him, because when the girl tries to raise the alarm, Shere Khan has also gone into the village, so all the villagers are distracted by the wild animal she says that's there. She's meeting the bear. They all see the tiger, so she has to go after Baloo and Mowgli.
The village people chase out Shere Khan.
They do.
The actual village people?
Yes. Oh, we're talking about the Man Village, by the way,
Oh, okay.
as it's referred to in the film.
Yes,
Got it.
the Man Village.
Yes. Anyway, the village people chase off Shere Khan.
Shere Khan.
That's very important to know.
Yes, and then Mowgli is a little bit, you were right, he was a little confused and conflicted because he likes ripping on, what's the girl's name? Starts with an S.
Shanti.
Shanti. He's like ripping on her about like how she's so mean and everything. And he also blamed her for when he got in trouble, which I took exception to. She just wanted to make sure none of the children could get murdered by going into the jungle. Whatever, Mowgli. So...
Fuck that dude.
that dude. So he tells Baloo to scare the girl if she does catch up to them. And meanwhile, all the villagers are, besides the girl and the little boy, are all searching for all three kids. And for some reason, I was really confused. So Shere Khan returned to the jungle, and some of the animals are not on board with helping Shere Khan, like the snake guy, like Ka, flat out lies to the tiger about where Mowgli's gone. And this is after the kids have tricked him into eating a rock. So I thought that was interesting. The vultures, especially Lucky. Let me say, okay, the vultures are gems.
Oh yeah,
They were great.
I appreciate the vultures.
They were basically supposed to be patterned after the Beatles.
Yes.
And Lucky, who basically like tortures
Yes.
Shere Khan the entire time, was voiced by Phil fucking Collins.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
So Lucky is I love all of the vultures, but so the animals are all being real mean to Shere Khan because he had been defeated by Mowgli. So Shere Khan is out for blood, and eventually, like, the girl catches up with Mowgli, and Baloo does scare said girl, and then Mowgli's like, "No, you're not supposed to be doing that. Like, she's my friend," and Baloo's like, "You told me to." So then the girl gets mad at Mowgli. She's like, fine, I'm leaving you in the jungle. And she goes off. Mowgli goes after her, and then Shere Khan like catches up to them. So then there's a showdown between the Mowgli, the girl, Shanti. I cannot.
And Baloo, yes.
And Baloo. I keep on wanting to see. I keep on wanting to say Shakira, and I know that's wrong.
That's not right.
It's a bit different.
So rather, I'm just saying the girl. Shanti.
Her hips don't lie.
And nice. So they all they team up against Shere Khan. They trap him by a lava river, and he gets stuck inside a skull dragon rock thing, and then Lucky comes back because we thought Lucky had been murdered by Shere Khan, and Lucky then continues to mock him, and Mowgli goes back to the man village, but every day the three kids go back into the forest to hang out with Baloo and
Bagheera.
I remember none of the end of this movie.
Yeah.
So
Good stuff.
there you go.
How well do you remember the original Jungle Book?
Apparently not very well, because I don't remember Mowgli being so insufferable.
Because
a little bit,
as far as my memory, I remember the bare necessities. I remember that.
Which they played
like 3 times in this movie.
They were like
reusing.
They go back to that well a lot.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, straight up, I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't watch any of this shit because I was busy.
shocked.
What, did you have something going on?
Don't worry about it. But I remember like the part that sticks out to me the most is that conflict in the first movie where the vultures are there.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the whole, I don't know what you want to do. That whole,
yes.
yeah.
And
so
so-
do they do that again?
They didn't do that bit, but
They didn't have the back and
vultures
forth?
were in it, and because they bring Lucky into the situation, and then they like kind of like get Lucky to start picking on Shere Khan at first, but then like the second time they appear, they're like, "Oh, Lucky, you're taking it too far," and then like presumably Lucky gets murdered. I did like how they brought back most of the characters. Like there was a scene with all of the elephants. There was a couple scenes with the vultures.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I did miss King Louie.
Yes,
Yeah,
King
They
Louie
did
wasn't
something
there.
with the monkeys, but they didn't have
Why is there no
King
King Louie?
He went some. They cover. There's like, he's off. So he was like vacation.
He had evacuated that temple.
He had
or
left.
He was
place
too
he was in.
busy for this movie.
Like he'd left.
It's animated.
I'm just
What the
telling.
fuck?
I'm telling you what the guy with like the hair said.
I don't know. I think the guy that drew him maybe had like he broke his wrist. And,
That's
He was
what it
over
was.
it.
That's what it was.
But yeah, so that was that movie.
yeah. Okay. I got the other one. Yeah. Oh, also, I do want to point out though that the father in The Jungle Book 2 was played by John Rhys Davies, who, if you don't know, played
I
Sala.
definitely do
I
know.
you do.
Yeah.
He played Sala in Indiana Jones Kids.
And who did he play in Lord of the Rings?
No fucking idea.
Gimli.
I really don't know. Also, Baloo was voiced by John Goodman.
Okay, yes,
Yes,
the
that
entire
was great.
time I'm like, is this actually John Goodman or is it someone that sounds like him?
And
Because he
Ka.
Go
That
ahead.
was another one that I liked.
Ka?
Ka.
I'm not sure. An older,
Somebody
some
from
older.
the-
I want to call him
person.
Sir Hiss because that's his name in Robin Hood.
That's true.
And did anyone notice his little brother was named Ranjan or Ranjan? And all I could think was Ram Jam. Whoa, Black Betty and Ram and Lamb.
Oh,
That's
no.
all I could think.
Don't
I
do that.
hope they
I know,
call
you
him
hate
Ram
that.
Jam.
Yeah.
All right, Descendants, the Royal Wedding. Let's move on. Bippity boppity woo, folks. Look, it's Mal and Ben's big day, and I'm just gonna tell you right now, it was a shit show from the get go.
It was.
Okay, Audrey is Mal's wedding planner, right? That's kind of weird because wasn't she like totally in love with Ben herself? Like, wasn't that a thing in the original the original movie?
You've seen The Descendants?
I just know about it.
I've never seen any of them.
He's got the poster.
This is amazing.
It's fine.
That's weird as shit. Anyway, Dude the dog is chasing Maleficence, whatever the fuck her name is. Is she well known? It doesn't matter. Maleficent is Maleficent's a lizard, okay? And Dude the dog starts chasing her. So Hades is like, I have to help you, Maleficent.
And it should be said that Maleficent and Zeus or Hades are one of the bride's parents.
Yes, they're mouse.
By the way, I totally thought I switched to the other song, so we were still listening to the Jungle Book.
Okay, so
I apologize.
Dude the dog is chasing Maleficent around the castle, and Hades is trying to rescue her, but accidentally sets the wedding venue on fire.
Because his hair
sad.
fire's tied to his emotions.
Yes, and then he flees. By the way, Hades does not look the way that he looks in the film that you know him from.
Nor is he voiced by the same person,
Right.
which is a
no
disservice
James Woods.
to everything.
Well,
is.
James Woods, he's had a rough couple of years.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But I'm just
they
saying
probably
his
weren't clamoring for
sass-
his
People
voice.
down on him a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mal needs her entire family present for the wedding, so she decides she has to return to the Isle of Lost to bring Hades back. Uma blows up huge and puts out the fire that Hades left. Mal turns into a dragon to scare off some henchmen and learns that Hades' freakout was a misunderstanding. Ben suggests, let's get married right here, and the fairy godmother fucking shows up.
With his parents.
With Belle and the Beast.
Who are apparently Ben's
yeah.
King
parents.
Adam or whatever the fuck he's called. God, I'm so terrible about that. I'm cursing so much. There's some poppy song that's playing. I think you were doing it in the background.
Yeah.
And they ultimately get hinched. They get hitched.
They could do both if they
ultimately,
wanted to.
they dance the night away. Shout out
floating
to Van
tiles.
Halen. In the stars. As they're skipping from one floor tile to the next. That's some scary shit, but also super cool because they're dancing in the stars.
Yes.
It's really great. But then the new couple takes a stroll together and claim that perhaps somewhere another story could be beginning.
Oh.
And then the camera pans over to a pile of white roses painted in red. And then that goes down a rabbit hole before it fades to black, leading to what ultimately will probably be some sort of sequel that's Alice in Wonderland related, I'm guessing.
Which I do love me some Alice in Wonderland.
But do you love this?
It was Perry Poppy. Was anyone else confused?
When did this turn into the type of music in Disney movies? Because it just it
Descendants.
happened. It just turned. No, it was before Descendants.
Yeah.
Because
I
they
feel like
they
there's-
started weaseling their way into credits where you would have like a poppy version of one of the songs. They even did it in Frozen.
They did
And-
it in Aladdin.
I
Yeah?
feel like more
Yeah,
often.
so it's been a while.
Did you ever see the Disney Channel original movies? Like, I feel like Descendants feels more of like a Disney Channel original movie style movie.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that is where more of the poppy music, although it has bled into some of the other like Disney theater movies. But but I am still confused by why the fairy godmother was with Belle and Beast.
They just showed up together.
I know,
I thought
like-
that was weird, but I'm like, all right, fair enough.
like,
Also,
I'm
it's
gonna let it fly.
it's clearly the daughter of the fairy godmother because she's not, it's not the same
yes.
original fairy godmother from Cinderella, right?
Also, I don't know if this was my connection, but was it like the animation weird, like kind of stop and go-y?
Yes.
Okay, so that wasn't just my...
No.
Because like none of the tech...
They were skipping frames. There
Yes.
was like something
Oh, that's
happening.
weird.
It was like a
Yeah.
style choice with how they animated it. Like they
It's a
skipped
terrible
frames.
choice.
It was weird.
But like and so I didn't think it was like my connection or streaming because the audio was all fine. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
why is this the animation
Well,
choice?
yeah. Because what year did this come out?
It's like 2 years
Recently?
ago or a
2
year
years ago?
maybe.
All of the Descendants, I feel, have come out in the last 6 years.
Well,
that's
it
a-
would
then
have
that's
had
just
to
a
have-
weird
it was-
fucking
It was
choice.
last year because it was after Cameron Boyce had passed away.
Right.
And because
I
they
remember
gave
hearing
him a
about
little
that.
tribute in there talking about how all the VKs were going to be together forever, right?
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I know nothing about any of the Descendants besides the fact that it's the
Right.
children
So
of
there was this kid that was, I mean, I don't even know if he was in his 20s. I would imagine
he
that
was 20 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but he played one of the main characters in the actual
Right.
movies that Kara was old enough to care about, at least the first one.
Kara
when that
cares.
one came out. Yeah, she does something from time to time, mostly about Squishmallows. And but yeah, I can't remember if it was after the second movie or whatever, but one of the main people passed away, and
I think this was the first film that came out after. his
after.
passing.
So,
Okay,
and maybe
got
that's
it.
also why they're gonna they wanted to wrap up like that trilogy of stories, and if they ever continue it,
Right.
shift away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should also point out, we did not mention this, but The Jungle Book is a regular length film. The Descendants Royal Wedding is 22 minutes long.
So I thought
If you're going into that thing, it's going to be filmed. It's not.
Yeah.
It's short.
going into watching these back to back last night, I thought it would clearly have to be Jungle Book is going to be worse because the other one is only 22 minutes. I'm like, I don't care what happens in either one of these.
Yeah.
You only have to sit through this for 22 minutes.
Right. Less margin for error, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it turns out I was wrong.
I
I'm like
know.
seriously torn. Like I'm like, they both like if it on a scale from like 1 to 5 where 1 is like, this sucks. 2's like, I don't like it. 3's middle of the road. I'm like, these are both 2 3s for me. Like it's not hate it. I did not hate either of these movies.
Yeah.
But I did not like necessarily any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that The Descendants was a worse film. That's my vote.
Yeah.
Well,
I would agree.
again, I didn't watch them, but I after the first Descendants movie, which had a couple of kind of neat parts, I checked out. And I like the story of the Jungle Book and the fact that it was, I mean, and maybe this is against the rules, but that it was an actual movie.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
Phil Collins, people.
You
Phil Collins.
You do not have to justify how you are voting.
There's a lot of great voice actors in that film too.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I just thought it was
Well,
a little
and
more
music
entertaining.
wise, that Jungle Rhythm was a great song. During the credits, they brought back "I Want to Be Like You" and popped it up, and that was really fun.
Yes.
I mean, there was no Phil Collins hit song, but
And
that's okay.
With you,
Are we gonna
you're
do Tarzan?
I'm pretty good with Descendants being the worst of the two.
Excellent.
Again, I was surprised. I'm like, you only had to succeed, not even for 22 minutes, because that includes credits.
Yeah.
And you still screwed up. Well, I shouldn't say. I will say one fun part for me during Descendants, since I knew nothing about any of them, was trying to guess who parents'
Oh, right. They make
Right.
it pretty obvious.
Except, well, I still don't know a couple, like the friend with blue hair. I have no idea what her
okay.
deal was, but like obviously one that put out the water, Ursula, I'm assuming, because she got giant and had legs.
Oh yeah.
So that added some fun to
Ursula's
it,
daughter.
but the animation just really threw me and pass.
Yeah.
Pass.
Fair enough.
These were very much marketed to different age groups.
Yes.
'Cause Jungle
Oh,
Book was
totally.
the classic Disney. We're
Yep.
going for kids, and this one was preteens.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's
can
also
look
true.
up from my smartphone for 22 minutes to watch this.
I
yes.
also
I
like
didn't
one of the
do that.
lines from Descendants. She's like, "I'm finally married." I'm like, "Aren't you like 12?" Like,
Oh shit.
she's like
fine.
a teenager,
How
but
old
she's
are
just
you?
like, "I'm finally married." I'm
Disney
like,
works.
it's not like you're an anything. Like you're not like in the
What
middle
age
of
are you
your
gonna
like. I don't know. I know. I'm just like I can't even think of an age where it's just like I'm finally married. It's not like you're an 80-year-old woman who has decided to live her life and like changed her mind. Anyway.
I think we have time for one more thing, right?
We do, but I feel like we need to cleanse our palate. And since you brought this up, I felt it was necessary to just play a little bit of it to get out of the Disney mode.
Well, we can
Am I
talk
right?
about what I was going to say we should maybe close with over this.
Yeah.
My favorite Van Halen song. What predictions for the Super Bowl?
Oh.
Who do you want to win? Are we Rams or Bengals? I wore orange because I'm rooting for the Bengals.
I think I'm pretty neutral, but I'm always up for a good underdog, and I see that the Bengals have lost more games this season, so I'll probably be voting for them.
Go Bengals. That's 2 for the Bengals.
Yeah, it's 2 for the Bangs.
What do you guys got?
Veronica.
I'm going for the Rams because
Yeah,
Cooper Kupp
I
has
know. You like
really
Cooper
done
Kupp.
good things for me this season with my fantasy team.
Yes. And how about you, Lancey Poo?
Well, it's rumored, but if it happens, I believe that the winner of the Super Bowl will be Obi-Wan Kenobi if they actually release the trailer during the Super Bowl.
yeah.
So that gets my vote.
That's the dark horse,
And-
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And if that doesn't happen, I believe that the other winner could possibly be Eminem.
All right.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right.
And I mean, at this point, if he doesn't do anything to be the equivalent of Rap God in there, I don't even know what he's doing there. Just saying. If he can't pull off a performance like that, I don't know what we're doing, honestly. And on that same note, I know that we're still playing Van Halen in the background.
You should be playing the mix I sent you.
We should be playing
I
that. I
listened to
apologize.
that all day.
I was helpful.
Basically, what the fuck was I saying? Oh, you fucked me up, Jamie.
Because conversations are competitions, and I won.
I don't think that's true.
I just
a-
want some Forgot About
Oh,
Dre.
It's
no,
a
no, no.
Calvin
What
and
I
Hobbes
was going to
comic.
say is that there is so minimal footage, at least that I've seen, of Eminem live. Like 99.9% of his songs and raps, it's all been pre-recorded.
I
I've
remember
seen
him at the
very little
VMAs.
live.
He had one. Yeah, he had one kind of famous performance at the Grammys with Elton John, like earlier in his career.
Yes, there was that, and I've
but-
seen a couple like concert shot videos, but I've rarely, and I mean, same goes for most of these acts that we're about to see. I just haven't seen them live, so I don't know what that's gonna be like. I mean, who the fuck has seen Dr. Dre live? Honestly.
I don't know. I'd like to. I guess
Yeah.
I
I'm
haven't
gonna.
seen a lot of people live, so
TV today.
Go upstairs.
So there's
let's
that.
watch
yes,
it.
let's go watch some games.
So it's is it game time?
Game time.
About.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye.